Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard for this morning's pregame edition against the New York Rangers as the Oilers head into New York area for the next 3 games, then a couple of games against Montreal and Detroit as we close out a 5-game road trip over the next few days. So looking forward to obviously seeing the Oilers come out of this. Like I said, 3-1-1 is about ideal. 4-1-0 would be perfect. But as long as you are at least some combination of 3 wins, I don't think we can argue too much for the first road trip of the year. I think the expectations for a lot of fans is due to the heavy road schedule. The Oilers will be ho-hum pretty medium, about that 500 mark by the time we get to end of November. Anything above that would be a pleasant, great surprise, that is for sure. So we'll discuss that and more here in today's edition as we set up the New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers for today at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. If you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV. Would appreciate that as we get into today's first graphic, which is to say the Rangers are 2-2-0 and 0-2 at home so far this regular season, scoring 10 goals while giving up 5 in the 4 games. So the Rangers, they have gotten some goaltending to start this season. I'm not going to mix words about that one. That is where they are at. That is the story of their season so far. Despite losing 2 games, their goaltending average against is way below 2. They've had a pretty solid start to the year. It's just a matter now, obviously, of continuing that. And will they be able to continue it against an Oilers team? And sure, they've got Shesterkin. Am I going to be proven wrong that, there's maybe 2, 3, 4 goalies in the whole NHL that can stymie the Oilers the way maybe Demko and Wolf have to start the year? Well, we're going to find out here in today's action. That said, the Oilers' attack, it seems to be getting better and better by the game. They've scored 3 goals per game to start the year, and I don't know if the Rangers are going to be able to keep them back from that. And obviously, if the Oilers score 3 goals tonight, I feel pretty good about things, I'll say that much. Because the Rangers' offense, right, scoring 2.5 goals in 4 games. The Oilers just continue to shoot the puck and play aggressive to the net. That's been one thing we've seen out of the Oilers this year, is a lot more of a direct approach, getting to the net and creating a little bit more chaos. I'm not going to say lots of chaos, but a little bit more chaos than we normally see at the start of the year towards the net. The Oilers have done that, and obviously the PP's had some looks as well. David Tomashek tonight, tonight, if it's a good time for a first goal, that'd be all right. Powerplay needs to score a couple tonight. That's what I'm going to say right there. The Oilers powerplay, they score a couple. The Rangers continue to score 2.5 goals. We probably have this one pretty well off. Now, goaltending and defense shouldn't surrender more than 3 tonight, just based on the Rangers giving up 2.5 goals per game so far. But the Oilers also being a much better team this year to start defensively. Yes, there's going to be miscues. There's always going to be miscues. Watch every other NHL game. The lamest excuse I've heard this year on the channel is, I don't care what happens in any other NHL game. I only care about the Oilers. Well, you should care about what happens in other NHL games, because you would find out other defensemen other than, Bouchard and Nurse sometimes do bobble a puck, right? Cody Cece's somewhere out there, just saying, costing the LA Kings on a nightly basis instead of us now. So just so as you are fully aware, the Oilers, again, it's a mistake will happen at some point in the game. I can almost guarantee that. But the mistakes per 60, probably compared to even 5 years ago, have dropped dramatically for the Edmonton Oilers. And that is one thing you can be grateful for coming out of Thanksgiving. Now, when it comes down to the New York Rangers, this is where you really got to watch. Adam Fox, obviously, he's been absolutely dynamite on the back end for the Rangers to start the year. I don't know where they'd be. He's scored 30% of their goals as a defenseman in 4 games. That's pretty incredible for Adam Fox. Again, we know this is a Norris caliber defenseman, so that'll tell you what you need to know there. JT Miller, our old friend Sam Carrick, having 3 points to start the year. This is where I'm saying, are the Rangers really that legit of a threat? Or maybe are they just going to wake up and start absolutely tearing us apart here in game number 5 of their season? I don't know. Question mark for you, I guess. Noah Laba and Adam Edstrom there as well with 2 assists apiece. Artemi Panarin still without a goal, so again, if Panarin's going to get a goal, it's going to be tonight. I can almost guarantee that. And Alexis Lafreniere with 2 points to split as well. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting hockey game, I think. And for the Oilers, you got to remember it's a 5 p.m. Mountain Time start, so a little earlier when you're getting off work, or a little earlier that you have to tune into the radio before you get off work. That might be my case here tonight. Is get the old iHeartRadio app on the office TV going, and basically start listening to the game before leaving work as we tidy things up for the end of the day. So for the Oilers tonight, I really didn't write anything in the expectations column other than the power play and the aggressiveness to the net. But I think as well, you got to see Connor McDavid probably score a goal or 2 tonight. It's been 2 games into the season. He's still goalless. I know there's some questions about that already. Again, the guy can score 60 in a blink of an eye, and we're worried about him not scoring in the first 2 games. But for the Oilers, maybe also if Stuart Skinner's starting tonight, quiet down the questions about goaltending at least for the next few weeks. We know that Skinner's got a runway here of about probably until December is what we decipher out of Ryan Rishaug's comments on Friday to get things right and get things going. Obviously sitting at an 864 goals against or save percentage, right now. That's not good enough, and the Oilers will need much better Otis Skinner throughout the next 2 months as these road trips continue to be a big part of the early schedule, because again, you don't get goaltending early on, especially on the road. It'll sink you a lot easier than maybe a little bit more of a home schedule where the Oilers might be able to feed off the fans a bit and come back. That said, against the Rangers, specifically over the last 5 years, the Oilers have pulled off some pretty incredible comebacks. The Oilers have pulled off some pretty incredible moments. You remember Connor McDavid's goal. You remember, as well, what was it, 3 years ago where Evan Bouchard scored 2 to mount the comeback for the Oilers. There's been some pretty fun moments as an Edmonton Oilers fan over the past few years against the New York Rangers. So maybe all this concern, all these talking points don't really matter. It's just going to be an absolute roller coaster of emotions that ends in the Oilers getting 2 points nonetheless. And that would be ultimately where we finish off today's video, is tonight 2 points against the New York Rangers would be massive going through this road trip, simply because you're trying to at least mount up 3 wins, be above 500 by the end of the road trip. And you got to realize here, for me personally, the Oilers are facing the Montreal Canadiens when they come home after this road trip, and that has been a sufferable game for the Oilers every single time over the past 2 or 3 years. The Oilers, I don't think, have played a solid game against Montreal in that time span. Maybe 1 win that I'm not aware of because of the busy schedule last year, but it has been brutal watching the Oilers play the Montreal Canadiens. So you got 5 games right now to build up a lead and hopefully be able to afford a stinker, as is normally scheduled, against the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight, friends, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, Tuesday game against the New York Rangers Oilers. Let's see what they got. For right now, though, I am up on out of here.